The views expressed by our guests in the following video are solely the opinions of our guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and or opinions of the Ola 7 podcast show. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the Sportlight with Yvonne Mangunda. It is another week, another show, and I am so excited. I mean, in the last couple of weeks, we've been talking to people that are competing for positions in the ZIFA elections. But today I thought, my administrator, my president, and let's look at the people that have given us a service as a nation. I'm talking about my guest who not only is a coach for a national team, but she's played as well for the national team. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Mighty Warriors head coach. I am always very particular about names. How do I pronounce Kwinji? Do you know you pronounce? I say Sithethelelwe. Sithethelelwe. Yes. Sithethelelwe, Kwinji, 15, Sibanda. Yo. I am, you know how happy I am to have you on the show. Happy because I remember as a young girl going to Rufaro Stadium and watching the Mighty Warriors in action and watching the guys that you played along with, the ladies that you played along with. And you don't imagine that one day you're going to be sitting there and having a conversation. So I'm so glad. I'm so glad to have you on the show, and I'm so glad you agreed to our invite. I know it's a busy period. There's elections, there's preparations for the Mighty Warriors and all that. But Nini, first question, Kwinji 15, who gave you, was it a nickname that was given? Was it something that you were doing that made people say, how you in the Kwinji 15?
Okay, first and above all, greetings to the audience, and thank you for having me, Yvonne. Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad really to be here and just share a few things with the whole country. Well, back to your question again. The name Kwinji 15. Okay, let's just say, I remember it was the national sports. It was Rufaro Stadium when we first had those first qualifiers matches at national level. I was still a young player. I accidentally was putting on number 15. You see, I was putting on number 15. And we were playing Namibia, if I'm not mistaken. Then the crowd, really, Rufaro being Rufaro, Vietnam being Vietnam, it was all those Dynamo supporters that were giving us all the support, So the fact that I was putting on number 15, and they were just roaring Kwinji every time I got got the ball. And maybe to make matters worse, I think where the nickname really stuck was I scored from a diving header from that match. And by then, coincidentally, Kwinji was with Dynamos, and Kwinji was known for scoring using his head. So that's how the nickname really stuck. But yeah, it really came out from the supporters there at Rufaro.
So when you got the nickname initially, did you immediately embrace it, or it took a while for you to get used to it, to the point where now people rarely even say your first name? Ingwari Kwinji 15.
Yes. I think it just stuck. And coincidentally, again, there was a lady in football, Mailanga from Bulawayo, the pioneers of women football. Mm-hmm. She happened to be Kwinji's mom-in-law. Mm-hmm. So actually, the wife, Kwinji's wife, they usually were speaking about it with the Kwinji, and by then when we started, we did not have training kits, especially the national team providing training kits. So each and everyone, we were supposed to bring your own training kits. So we're just training with multicolors and whatsoever, each one with their own. And Kwinji used to supply me when he was at Dynamos. Actually, his wife would support that they provide me with training kids. So we used to have a lot of Dynamos players by then picking their own players there, and I was picked and supported by Kwinji. Maybe that adoption of the name became even stronger from there.
And correct in judging from your name and your surname that you are from Matabeleland?
Yes,
Is
I
it
am.
Bulawayo or it's somewhere else in Matabeleland?
No, I stayed in Bulawayo for a very long time, but my rural home is Filabusi. That is, it's Filabusi district there. That's where, in Sithethe district, that's where I originally come from, yeah.
And you are in Sithethe district. We're talking years when women's football wasn't even a thing in Zimbabwe. Yes. Let me take you back to your schooling up until when you started playing football. Where did you go to school, and at what point in your journey did you start playing football?
Okay, yeah, I did my primaries at one Amaswazi primary school that was in Phumula, north in Bulawayo. Then I also went to Rosecamp Primary School when I stayed at the camp there. So when I grew up, I did not really stay with my mom. We lost our father when we were young. Actually, I don't even know my father really. So I was brought up by my aunt. So being brought up by my aunt, then we used to my aunt used to stay with one of her daughters who was a teacher and married to a policeman who is now retired. So they started by staying in Phumula and later on at the camp. That's where then I grew up at Rose Camp. So yeah, that Rose Camp really, it is where really I would say my journey began as far as football is concerned. There was a lot of games that we were playing in the camp there, and yeah, a lot of those games. But I was more involved with playing. We used to have a game that was called Kick and Run, where it was more like cricket. You kick and then do those runs and whatsoever.
Yes.
So it was determined by when you kick a long ball there, obviously you do many runs.
We called it Wishu.
Or yeah, something like that. It also came out like that, yeah. So that's the game that I played a lot at Rose Camp, and we also used to play just football, dribbling, and what by the so that's how I grew up. And then from
were you like at that point were you girly, or you already like tomboyish? Because I grew up very tomboyish.
Very tomboyish. I would say I played both. Though at times at Rose Camp, it was a lot of more football than the ladies, the girls games. You see. So I really participated a lot on those games. Like we'll go in the morning and we'll come back probably in the evening, and there was coal in Rose Camp, and we'll be black by the end of the day, So I really played a lot, and at some point, even in terms of growing the body or of being really a grown-up woman, I took time because I really participated in a lot of these. So I'm kind of like at some point was maybe tomboy like, yeah, something like that, yeah.
And there's a difference between just playing, just playing as kids, and then wanting to actually play the game.
Yes.
At what point did you realize this is more than a game? Or at what point did maybe somebody identify that I think you've got a talent that is beyond just hitting a big ball, kuwisho?
Yes. I think we were lucky. I think when I was in Form 1, girls football was introduced in high schools, and I was lucky. Our school, by then I started at Mandwandwe secondary school that was in Kulumane. By then I was I stayed in Kulumane. I was staying in Rose Camp, and I later stayed in Kulumane a bit. Then Form 2, when I was in Mzilikazi High School, Again, when I was staying in Troskamp, because it was a walkable distance from Troskamp to Mzilikazi High, that was really where I started playing football. Mandwandwe, Form 1, we had a schools tournament.
So let me
Yeah.
cut you a bit there. We'll be back to hear the story, what was happening in Mandwandwe, just after this break. So welcome back to the Sportlight with Yvonne Mangunda. And today I've got a big guest. So excited. I've got Kwinji 15 in the studio. She is the Mighty Warriors head coach. And you were just talking about, don't remember, Mandwandwe.
Yes, that's a secondary school. Yeah.
So let's talk about that point, Mandwandwe.
Yeah, so I would say probably that's really where it all started. Yeah, we women football, girls football. Yeah, was just being introduced there at schools. So we had a football tournament at Gifford High School. Teams from all over Bulawayo there. Then that's where my club football started, because we had passionate team owners then in women football. So that's where I got identified by Mr. Harvison Masilela, the late New Orleans director. May his soul rest in peace. That's where really it all started.
And when you talk about New Orleans, oh my word, it takes me back. That club was just marvelous. It was levels. Yes, the players that were in that squad, yes, that made the national team.
We once really dominated. At some point, I remember some qualifiers there at New Orleans where I think I still have those lineups where we were like 9 or 8 in the starting 11.
Yes.
You know, that was really great. Yeah, so New Orleans, that's where it all began.
And you're now playing in New Orleans. At this moment, the idea of ever playing in the national team, had it kicked, or it wasn't, it was like, Utamba club cricket, club football, and Utamba this, but had you thought one day maybe, had the dream started, you started dreaming about wearing Zimbabwean colors?
Never. I'll be honest, because I think it was 95, 96, thereabout, and we never even thought there is a national team at some point. But I remember 1998, there was some friendlies that were organized, that we played at the national sports, where we played Mozambique. We won 3-0. I came in as a sub. By then, I think I was still 15, 16 or so.
Wow.
And so they were, by then we did not have any junior teams. So some of us did not really get that chance to play maybe at under 17 or under, but managed to play with those that were half their age at 16, you know, playing with those that were already 30, the pioneers years really of women football. I never thought there is some national team or something, but I did play 1 or 2 friendlies. But the AFCON qualifiers for 2000, that is where, okay, we said, oh, now there is a national team. And I think that was early 2000. Our first appearance really to play in those qualifiers, and we qualified for the finals to be played in South Africa, and eventually I think we came out 4th in that AFCON qualifiers, and the rest is history. That is where it really started.
And when we talk about that phase, what are some of your highlights during that time when you guys were playing for the national team?
It was pride before anything else. I think that was the first time we really had something really professional is women football, to really have national teams, to really feel singing that national anthem, being introduced to such a stage in football. It was really great. Actually, it was really great. just that thing of saying, okay, oh, when we are singing our national anthem, this is what we do. That was so amazing.
And you actually taking me back. The first time I ever lined up to sing the national anthem, it was at Takashinga, and Zimbabwe women's cricket team was playing USA.
Okay.
And just standing in that lineup, just knowing that you are part.
I'm
You might not
representing
be
the
the
national
player,
team.
but you are representing in your own capacity. And did you have any bad moments during that time? Things that maybe happened that you weren't happy about during your time?
I think, let me just say, not much. Maybe being pioneers, like the greatest thing of all was to represent your what? Your nation. It wasn't that popular at that moment. So we had that pride to say I'm representing the nation. The moments were just great. There was a lot of support from our teams back home there. And I remember Mr. Masilela would be like, even if we go, the 10 of us, to the national team, he'll be saying, I don't want anyone coming back dropped.
Okay.
So we know we'll go there, we work, and we make sure we are what? We make it to the final team, and we represent our nation with pride. I think I have very good memories in terms of really the participation and everything. And to be quite frank and honest, by then, monetary, we were not even thinking about that. I don't want to lie to you. Maybe it's because even the economy was not bad. So we didn't have
And your
really,
kids, you
we
like
were
in terms
kids.
of you don't have responsibilities.
Yeah.
Because why I say I can relate to that is because I also played cricket at a time where it was the pioneering period of women's cricket.
Yes.
And there was no expectation for money. There was no expectation for this big, because you're starting something new and there's nothing to compare it with. And like
Exactly.
now, you find people can be able to compare
Exactly.
and say, look, especially in the digital era, the current Mighty Warriors might be saying, but in South Africa, they're getting
They're doing
this,
ABCD.
in this. And
Yeah, that's the difference.
do you think
yeah.
maybe that was like actually a better period because there was just no expectation? You are just happy. You wear your Zimbabwean colors. You play your game.
I think just to set out the tone, that was the best experience that we had, because it was all about, okay, I'm playing, and you just be happy even just to be given a T-shirt and whatsoever, nothing else. Or maybe we were too young by then.
Our expectation, our bar was very low.
Yeah, it was very low. I remember my First Nations Cup, I think I was 18. We're 18 by then. The majority of we had our seniors there, the likes of, say, Coach Rose, Annie, Eliza from Highlanders. Those were the real pioneers of women football. But we came on the second phase and with the young players there, and the football was starting to be professional, and yeah.
And does that now not become something that frustrates you? I think when you look at your phase and now you are coaching in a different phase where players have a different mindset in terms of, in the olden days, it was just passion. Now it's passion, but at the same time, you want to make money, feed your family off that passion.
Yes, very true. Very true. It is a very different phase now, in the sense that you have to really look at the situation, analyze it. How can I best manage it? What is available, what is not available, and how can we make the best out of it at the end of the day? Because at the end of the day, for now, football is now a career. Players want to get something out of it, and that's not a secret. It's what it is. It's what's there, and for them also to really like give it their best, we need to balance the equations, really.
And do you look at nowadays and think, if I played in this era, maybe I could have played outside the country, maybe I could have done A, B, C, D, or you're not a person who dwells too much on the what ifs?
Of course, at some point, I thought about that. Okay, if this situation could have happened, also we could have had many players going abroad. But then I would just say to myself, no, that was the start. And that was the start. And so now, what can I do best to make sure the current generation gets to where they can be? Because at the end of the day, I'm on a different platform now as a coach educator. So I can as well go somewhere in the capacity that I am in now, but at the same time, get something better for the what? For the players. Yeah.
So let's go into coaching. At what point, not even before we go to coaching, at what point did you realize this is my next phase? Did you realize it while you're still playing, or it was after you're done, you're like, maybe this is the avenue that I can take?
I think, let me just say, I realized it when I was playing. And also, I got some advice from some people. I remember at New Orleans, one of the guys who is now an administrator, Mr. Brian Moy, who is now a CEO at Highlanders, he was once a New Orleans coach. And at some point, I remember he nominated me as one of the team captains for the team when I was still very young. And I had to lead, like, I once was Coach Rose's captain at club level, but she was my captain at the national team. So at that point, Coach Brian, he said to me, in fact, I think at some point Mr. Masilela was saying, "Oh no, she's still very young. Why are you giving her all that duty?" And Coach Brian was like, "No, I think she's got leadership roles. She's going to do well." And then again, it's at that point we had juniors at New Orleans when I was playing for the seniors. Now we had juniors at New Orleans, and when our coaches were coaching the juniors, I would go and assist in coaching. And that's when my coaches also said, "No, we think you might be going this avenue." And I also liked it. Maybe that's how I really then blossomed into coaching.
But I'm trying to figure out whether, because yes, you are finding this thing, but sometimes there are no examples. It's like now, a woman who's playing can be able to say, "I want to be a coach," because there are examples of you, of Rose, and all these other ladies. But then it wasn't like it was as open to female coaches as now. Did you not doubt at some point to say, "But this avenue, will it work out for me?" Or you were just like, "I'm just going to try"?
Actually, I did not have a doubt. I loved it. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know how, but in my mind, I just said, maybe this thing is godly given. I would just take it as it is, because I just felt it in me that this is what I want, and I'm just going to learn from the other coaches at my club.
How is the reception? Because obviously you've got coaches at your club. They understand you. They understand the aspects of you. But when you then go out there to other spaces of people that don't know you as a player and as a person and your qualities, were they receptive to you as a female coach?
Yeah, I think I didn't have much of a problem, really. Honestly speaking, I got a lot of support. For example, especially all the courses that I did. I remember my level 1 under Mr. Nelson Matongorere. I think we were 2 ladies. I was with Precious, I think, by then, and that's where really it all started. When I did my level 1, I just moved from level 1. The next time when level 2 was being rolled out, I just said, no, this is what I want to do. Maybe it also went in line with the kind of work that I'm doing, that I was doing by then. I used to work for grassroots soccer under Metembe Ndlovu. It was more like in non-governmental organization, using the power of football just to disseminate information within school kids and whatsoever. So that thing of really going in front of an audience seemed so easy to me. Maybe that's where really I got it from.
And word on the street, we've always heard this, that you were one of the best students in all the levels that you were conducting. I remember there's even a calf, a calf one that people were saying she was top of the class. Is it because you're naturally like a very intelligent person, or do you attribute the fact that if you've played the game at the level that you've played, it's easier for you to then adjust to these courses?
Yeah, I think either at the end of the day, it boils down to talent first, and what do you do about that talent? You know, I'm saying, okay, I think God gave me this talent, so how can I make it better? Through interactions with other people, learning from other people, making sure I believe in myself, and making sure I always try to improve myself in everything and learn from everyone. I always even if I'm instructing, I always say to my participants, no matter I'm A licensed or whatsoever, and you are in your introductory course, I believe I can still learn something from you. So we learn every day from everyone, and that makes you better and to improve each and every day. Yeah.
And being a coach, female, you're coaching women's teams. Oh, wow. It's the norm. It makes sense. And then entering into the domain where you are now as an assistant in a men's team. You're bold. How was that experience? And let's talk about that phase in your life. How did the opportunity come about, and how was the reception?
I would say my first time really to coach the males was when I went to Cholocho. Started with them when they were at Division 1, but there I was just on a voluntary, just learning from Lizwe Sweswe. I had known Lizwe Sweswe. He had once coached some women football players. So I used to learn from him. And then when he was now at Cholocho, then he just said, he just asked me, would you mind coming and be my assistant? And I was like, no, do you really believe in me? And I said, yes, I've seen you, I've seen when you come there and you coach the boys and whatsoever, you can do it. And that's how it went. I went there, I started coaching. Lizo will give me all the floor to do the sessions while List is what he's watching. I don't know, but I just have that confidence.
But don't you think the rumor and all these things that were happening, talking about how you were doing in your courses, even when you get to spaces where it's a men's team, like let's say Cholocho, it's easy for people to receive because one, they know you, they've seen you play, and then two, they've heard you're doing these courses with men and you're top of the class.
I don't know, but at Cholocho, to be quite frank and honest, I worked with one of I think I haven't had problems with working with a men's team. I've worked with one of the most disciplined teams, I would say. With for example, take at Cholocho. Joel is now a coach, but I once coached here, but he's older than me. You know, Cesar Koza, he was older than me. Danisa Piri was older than me. Those were my brothers, but they were once my players at
But allow me to say the statement, Kwinji. I'm quite because I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm bold, I'm confident, I'm all that, but as a female and you are coaching these players and some of them are Mazita.
Yeah. I think it also boils down to them also being disciplined players. But at the end of the day, it's about even me as a coach. Do I have the confidence in what I am doing? And for me, I believe above all, besides my hard work and whatsoever, for me, coaching is inborn. Coaching is God-given to me. That's how I really took it, and I never looked back from there.
But have you ever been frustrated in terms of maybe when you look at opportunities that are there, especially for for coaches with CAF A's in the league not coaching, maybe not being approached by what we can term the big teams?
No, not really. I don't really get frustrated by that because at the end of the day, even I coach both male and females, but I believe I'm so gender sensitive that I believe I need to really put in a lot of work in a female development than in males, though at some point obviously I'll go to the males, but I want really to do much as far as women development is what is concerned. So I don't really have a problem with not being approached or approached. Yes, I get approached here and there. I've had coaches, even I remember at some point I had so many coaches in the Premier there wanting me to come and and assist them because they were looking for CAF A licensed coaches. But usually I look at my first option will be what is it that I can get for the ladies, because I want also to not to leave the ladies alone there. I just want to contribute also on the ladies development.
And then you finally land the my head coach job. And there's speculation when people get appointments to say, was she especially if you're coming from a point where you were an assistant to the previous person, to say, was she backstabbing the previous person? How do you deal with some sort of comments, criticism, reactions to something that must have been huge to you?
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. Such things always happen. But when I started this journey of coaching, I told myself, in coaching, I should be prepared for two things. There is a situation where I'm going to be an assistant coach, and there is a situation where I'm going to be a head coach. And when I am an assistant, I'll do as much as possible. As the name suggests itself, Kuti assistant, it means I really assist on what my head coach desires to attain from that period that we are in. And as a head coach, yes, this is what also I expect. And obviously those speculations are going to be there, and they've been there, honestly. And you know what I've told myself is, at times if you let those speculation affect you, you retire in a profession that you have sacrificed a lot in it. So I'm one strong character that really, I'll just, okay, at the end of the day, it's a wasted tenure of coaching if I make my head coach fail. Yes, we went to the Olympics 2016 with Shadrack Mlauzi. I was there as his assistant. Didn't I go to the Olympics?
You did.
I did. Am I not part of the history going team? I am, whether as an assistant or what. But if I had made him fail and not help him for us to get through there, I would not have gone to the Olympics. So it's about always bringing the best out of the team, no matter whatever position that you hold, because it also broadens fattens your CV.
But do you feel like as women in sport, especially us in male-dominated sport, that there is a strength that you have to have that maybe differentiates those that succeed and those that don't?
Yes, very true. One really needs to stay positive, no matter what. Don't respond to any criticisms. At some point, whatever criticism you get, just digest it. Why did so and so say so? Is there any way where I'm going wrong? Or if there is not, are they jealous? If they are jealous, let them be. And you keep And you keep working. But if there is something that I can digest from that, it's just like a supporter. Some supporters will just say, okay, I thought so and so can play, can play like A, B, C, D. They are not a technical person. But sometimes it's not like you just cut off that thing. You think, sometimes I think about it, okay, but maybe they are making sense. Then one day you will see me doing that. It's out of a contribution from someone that you might not call that technical. You get the point. So at the end of the day, I'm thinking one just needs to be positive. You just need to focus. You look at your end goal and how you are going to get to that end goal. Don't be frustrated by anything on the way. There's a lot of hurdles here and there, but if you respond to any criticism, and you respond every time, you're always getting stressed. But if you just focus and say, this is where I want to be, you try, and at the end of the day, God will help you get through it.
And talking about now, you are the head coach. And we've got a campaign that's coming, we've got qualifiers that are coming.
Yes.
What are you hoping? What is the ideal for you as a head coach of the Mighty Warriors in terms of the preparation, the results? What would you say would be the ideal for you?
Yeah, we're looking at our qualifications very soon, February. There, so far, the players know. At times when you deal with the seniors, it's very easy because they know what they want. We set out our objectives. They know this is what we want. At the end of the day, guys, we want to qualify. We want to go to the AFCON. But how do we get there? We need to work towards it. Right now, obviously, they were from off-season, but we have talked. We have talked individually with the coaches, those outside the country, those locally. We are brewing something. So I'm thinking as soon as our preparations start, we'll definitely do well and come up with a very good team that will compete, and we set ourselves ready to compete again for the last qualifiers. Definitely we want to go through this one.
Do you have pressure?
Not at
Pressure
all.
to succeed, to perform?
Not at all. I believe with the hard work, players, technical team, everyone, if we focus, we can get there. I don't have pressure.
Do you think you have a team that can take us there?
Yes, we do. We do have those kind of players. And the level is different. I know we are used to competing at COSAFA level and whatsoever, but this is AFCON qualifiers, and the players know what is at stake. And hence, this time around, we are also going to involve our foreign-based players in these qualifiers. So yes, we're going to have the best of our team so that we really go through this first round. And after that, the biggest hurdle is going through the first round. Then we start now preparing for the second round that will take us there.
So what does the normal, ordinary day in your life look like?
Like, what? Monday to Friday?
Yes.
No, right now I work full-time at Zifa. So I'm full-time Monday to Friday, but obviously doing football things. When the season obviously gets underway, it will be up and down, seeing players progress, seeing teams train, attending all those tournaments, school tournaments, everything. And basically football is my everyday life. But Sunday I'm at church. I go to Anglican.
That's why I wanted to get to there to say, like, literally, we see these football personalities and, only the football side. And sometimes you want to find out what sort of person they are outside what we see on the pitch. What do you like doing? What do you do for fun? What do you do to relax? What are your hobbies?
Yeah, like I said, after all of the football is done, I just like hanging out, maybe with friends. I go to church on Sundays. If I'm free, I visit my mom in my rural areas and relax. Then make sure my phone is off and just rest and relax. That's what I do. And also just spending some time with my just taking my son out.
Like literally, when I'm done with all the work that I do, I just want to be home. I just want to relax.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of how much we take in our jobs, especially if you're involved in sport. It's almost like you eat, breathe, live football. And the time that you want to relax, you just want to chill and relax.
With the family, yeah. Oh, yes.
So let's talk about your personal life. Can we get into your personal life? Do you have kids? Are you married? What we want to know, if you allow us that side.
No problem. I'm a single mom of a 20-year-old boy.
Haha, nah. Now you're making me feel so old because I saw you play and now you've got a 20-year-old.
I'm serious. Prince is 20.
Wow, time flies.
Prince is 20. He's at Pindura University. I'm old now. It's just that I keep fit. Yes, I keep fit.
Wow, I'm going
to be a young granny very soon.
Yeah, you'll be a national team coaching granny.
Yeah, I'm going to be a young granny very soon. But yeah, that's it. Yes.
Okay, I like literally, guys. I don't know if you're also as shocked as me, because sometimes we think about, because we've seen people play, we've seen their journeys, and then there are certain moments where you realize time really has been flying.
Yes,
because if you've got a 20-year-old and we saw you
plus.
play, yes,
I'm 40 plus.
I'm getting there. This is I'm turning 40 in November, so I'm also getting into the 40 plus.
Into the 40 plus.
If you really think about it.
Yeah, sure.
But if there's a young girl who's watching you, and what lessons or what advice would you want to give to a young lady, whether they want to play? Firstly, let's start with those that want to play, and then secondly, those that want to be involved in sport. Yeah. Lessons that we can take from your journey.
Yeah, I would say it's about hard work. It's about being passionate about what you do. But above all, it's about discipline. Discipline takes you somewhere. Understand? We are living in a digital world where everything is going very fast. So really my advice is to young girls that are aspiring to be professional sports people is to really focus, take care of themselves. And I won't run away from the fact that nowadays sports people, women, sports people, like even girls in football, because we are talking football here, girls in football, for you to get there, you really need to love training, love developing yourself, respect your coaches, but live again a life that where you keep away from things like drugs and alcohol, which is one of the things that is really destroying these new generations.
Men.
Because and also being in relationships, just get into a steady relationship, and you move from there. You can't be seen from one man to another, or you can't be seen. We need to be role models. You can't be seen drinking there and there. You need to have that respect in front of people. You need to know that you are a role model. You need to know that one day someone should be saying, okay, I want to be like Kwinji. Because you've never seen me drink. Not that I have anything against people. I don't drink, yes, but I don't have any problem against anyone who drinks. But I'm saying kids should not abuse these alcohol and drugs, because it's not really good for their development in sports.
You come from old school. Yeah, like we've already said, it's Takura. And it's the new school. There's social media, there's TikTok, there's... What is your stance as a coach? Because obviously you're in camp, people want to, do videos, twerking, do videos, showing people. I see a lot, especially in women's football.
Yes,
you have a lot
yes.
of teams where you've got girls that love to post that content. As a coach, what's your stance?
Well, in as much as you don't really stop them from what they are, because that's the generation. But I personally advise them. I tell them, okay, these things, social media can hype you, can also what? Destroy you. You have a time when, and we have seen many players that have been hyped and destroyed by what? By social media. So I've just advised them to know how to deal with social media issues, of which we cannot, like I said, I cannot say stop doing this, stop ABCD. This is their what? This is their generation. So I just say know how to manage it, because at the end of the day, you might be there, but stay humble. And because the next time, that the same way you were there is the same way you are what? You are going to what? To go down. Just proper management is what we try to what? To advise to these players.
And we can't run away from the fact that we are in election season. There are going to be elections for ZIFA. For you as a technical person, what would you hope, whoever comes in place, what would you hope for the women's game?
Okay. At the end of the day, yeah, my technical people, yes, we are part of the development of the game also. So we hope and pray that all those candidates really that are coming in for the betterment of our game. They are coming in to improve the game. They are coming in to continue to do good on what was already good and to improve on what was not going on well. At the end of the day, that's what we want, a better footballing nation and a better one for the ladies' game again.
And how would you assess the current situation in women's sport, in women's football?
Yeah, we progressing well in terms of the number of girls really coming in to play the game, but I think we can do better in terms of sponsorship. We need those sponsors. That's what we are kindly asking, to get those sponsorships, whether it's at club level or whether it's at national level. That's what we are kindly asking from the corporate world, sponsorship.
And before I go, I have to ask you on your future plans. What do you see in your perfect visualization, the dream?
Okay, right. That's it. But different stages. I've played. I'm coaching. Eventually, in a few years, I'll retire from coaching, but continue with coach education. Already, I'm a coach educator, otherwise known as instructors. You know
Yes,
them,
yes.
yeah. So already doing that in the country. I've already attended CAF courses and FIFA courses on coach education. That is the direction that I'm going. And at some point, at a CAF level in the COSAFA region, I do technical study work for tournaments. When the senior team is not playing, like the recent under-17, I was part of the technical study group for the COSAFA region. So that's the direction that I want to go when I really... But again, I need to make sure, especially I've mentored lady female coaches. No offense to males coaching in women football. We appreciate their support, but I also want to mentor females that coach women's football.
So in every journey that people partake, a lot of people have people that they look up to. From the time you were playing to now, the phase where you are in your career, who are the people that you've looked up to, or the people that you look up to now?
Yeah, I had a lot of support really from especially many coaches, senior, the elite coaches in the country. And I can't mention because most of them, where I attended elite courses, for elite coaches in the country. Everyone was very supportive. So I looked up to those people, but I will be honest, in terms of coach education, really, I admired our late father, Mr. Matongorere. May he so rest in peace. He was a great instructor.
He's my instructor.
Was a great instructor. That one, level 1 to level 4, he will just instruct it by head, and when you go to the notes, he'll be saying word for head, and I'll say, oh, that man is so powerful. He was really gifted, and that he inspired me really to go into coach education. Yeah.
Oh, you literally took me back to the time when I did my level 2, and he was an amazing man, amazing instructor. So I always like to give this opportunity to my guest before they go to say, is there anything that you feel like maybe I wanted to speak about this, but she didn't ask me about this? Because obviously, I don't know if people at home know that I always like to keep these conversations very pure. So I don't give my questions beforehand to the guest because I want to unravel that story. And sometimes maybe there are phases where you might not get into that phase. Is there anything that you'd want to add that you're like, oh, she didn't ask me this?
Not really much. Maybe no, maybe I skipped this one just to motivate other girls maybe coming up. I didn't really come from a very, very good background. That's where at some point we lose it as people. Usually I had a situation where when we lost our father, things were not really well. We had to be split as kids, one to be staying with so and so, something like that, and things were not that rosy. And at some point you were thinking, no, I'm not really going to make anything. So it's my advice that to other youngsters, whatever they are going through, if they are passionate about something, they just have to be patient and they'll get there. They just have to be patient. If you believe this is my talent, they'll get there. And I think that's just about it. Because when I got there also, I didn't think, oh, it's me who came from such a situation to such a situation.
But as a follow-up to that, do you then find that, how did you deal with the situation now where you then find success? Because we found there are also people that come from those backgrounds. I also came from a background like that, where you then see when somebody gets success, they forget or they get taken by events, and then they think they're bigger than the game or they're bigger than other people.
That's why I'm how I am, because I remain humble. And even if you come to the locations and when I go back home there, if you see me in the locations, I remain the Kwinji that they know. I don't want to take myself to another level that I now don't mingle with so and so. I still associate myself with everyone. If you can even find me sitting with my friends there that are selling vegetables, and sell vegetables when they just popped into their house and whatsoever. So yeah, that's how we remain. You remain where you are. You remember where you came from, and again, it pushes you to try to push other guys. So for me, it actually drives me to try to push someone who is probably at that situation and make them even better.
Wow, lessons that you can take from today's interview. Like Kwinji said, those parting shots about where you come from does not determine where you're going. And when you do get there, don't get big-headed. Stay humble and you will succeed. I hope that you got insight into Kwinji 15, served us as a player and is serving us now as a head coach. We're getting into the African Women's Cup of Nations qualifiers, and I'm hoping all the best to you and your squad, and hoping that the results will come. I always say this: a win for a woman is a win for all of us. Because once you win, you also open doors for other women that come. But if Kwinji could qualify to AFCON, so maybe it's time we gave more women an opportunity. So thank you for coming on the show. She's got a busy schedule and she had to squeeze me in. I literally could feel she's trying to squeeze me in. Thank you for being that person and respecting and coming on the show. All the success. Until next time when we bring you another big sporting personality, I hope that you enjoy it. And on that note, on the next show, we obviously have Alois Bunjira in the building. We'll be talking about his journey as a sports player and also his aspirations now to be on the ZIFA board. Until next week, goodbye.